Welcome to Roots, Routes and Voices, Stories That Shape America. I'm Clara Matonhodze, your co-host and creator of the series. Every person you'll meet in this podcast has roots somewhere. A place, a language, a table they grew up at. And at some point, they chose a different route. To live, to stay, to begin again in America. What happened along that route shaped everything. And what they built when they arrived, whether it was a business, a community, lifestyles that didn't exist before they got here, that became their voice in this country. Those roots, those routes, those voices, this is what this podcast is made of.
And I'm Bryan Wright, Executive Director of Cincinnati Compass and your co-host. A quick note before we begin. The views and stories shared here are those of our guests and do not reflect those of Cincinnati Compass. We believe every voice has a place, especially when it shapes the future of our cities. We would also like to thank our hosts and sponsors who made Season 2 possible, thanks to the Marketer Collaborative and the Greater Cincinnati Foundation.
Let's get into it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Roots, Routes and Voices, Stories That Shape America. I'm your host and creator of the show, Clara Matonhodze.
And I'm Bryan Wright, Executive Director of Cincinnati Compass. Before we begin, the views and stories shared on this podcast are those of our guests and do not necessarily reflect those of Cincinnati Compass. We believe every voice has a place, especially when it shapes the future of our cities.
That's right, Bryan. So this episode, Bryan, there's a story that I think about a lot, actually, since I have known this person. Think about a boy in Ghana, rural Ghana, 13 years old, cannot read, cannot write, and the world around him, obviously, you can imagine, has already started to probably make around pretty assumptions about what his life is going to be like, right? But then somewhere inside this boy, and this I believe strongly is probably in each and every child, right? Somewhere in this boy quietly is like that person that says, I can do it. This is what I want to do. But it's like, how do we tap into that to make it happen? And so in this case, this boy is a man that one day would walk into one of the largest banks in America and tell them, I am the best there is. A boy from Ghana, you can't predict the future. Just like right now, there's probably a little boy somewhere in Africa, but cannot envision that one day he would be one of the top executives at the largest bank in the biggest and most beautiful country in the world.
Right. And
Can you imagine that?
And I hope boys and girls there will see someone like as successful as our guest today and are inspired to follow their own path and dreams as well. And so I think you're right. I don't think this is an exaggeration.
No,
and that person is Frederick Odame.
Yep. So I want to sit with that for a second before we say his name again, because I cannot tell you, I just cannot emphasize enough how much Fred's story inspires me. And I think it's just a reflection of the world that we can build. We love to celebrate stories of arrival, the corner office, the title, the LinkedIn headline, but we really do not talk nearly enough about people that are not yet seen and what it costs to get there. And this is part, when you and I were talking about creating this podcast, that's a lot of what we dwelt on,
Absolutely.
Like those people that are not naturally, you look at them and you're predicting like, oh yeah, these are going to be superstars. But we know, they are. So it's the vision of the story that nobody really frames and hangs in the wall. And that's what we want to talk about.
Right, and that is exactly what this show hopes to find. Not just where people landed, but what the road looked like to get here and who they had to get in contact and be connected with along the way, and where, with the platform they have, where they want to go and what they want to see.
Frederick Odame is a vice president and senior business banking officer at PNC Bank. He spent nearly 2 decades there. He has served on boards across the region, from African American Chamber of Commerce to ELL Cincinnati, organizations working to open doors for people who are still looking for the handle. And he co-founded APNET Cincinnati, the African Professionals Network, which is really beloved in Cincinnati. Absolutely. Because he understood that if the ecosystem does not exist, what do? You build it.
And what I keep coming back to when I read Frederick's story or hear his story, I look forward to hearing more about it. But what I hear is the path from a 13-year-old boy who could not read to a vice president at PNC. And that is not a straight line. It's not a highlight reel. It is a decision made over and over and over again to keep going when the system says stop. And he continues to say yes.
All right. So should we welcome our guest?
Yeah. Welcome.
Welcome, Frederick.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Bryan. Thank you, Clara. I am looking forward to engaging the audience and telling them more about myself, my story. And then I also want them to know something. There's a reason why we call something American dream. And I believe in that American dream. And there's no place on this planet Earth that my story could be told on a bigger platform than this USA. So I'm happy to be in Cincinnati. I'm happy to have gone through NKU. I'm happy for the organization I work for, which is PNC, and the fact that I've met so many people in Greater Cincinnati. And I want to say thank you to the mayor of Cincinnati, the mayor's office, the city council, because they truly make a home for people like myself to thrive, to survive, to make it. So they should continue supporting the immigrant community because our stories are different.
Right.
And we are living proof that
Absolutely.
Cincinnati is a home for everybody. So thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to talking to the audience.
And thank you so much, Fred, for being here. So let's start at the beginning. And I know I have talked with you a lot. We've known each other over the years. And I've heard you describe yourself as not just describe yourself, but you have told me this. And I remember the first time you told me, I literally thought you were kidding. Like, I did not think you were serious. I thought that you did not know how to read or write at the age of 13, but you've gone on to become one of the best bankers in the world.
Yes.
Now, take us all the way back. What was your life in Ghana like at that time, and what was happening around you? Because I think this is really important for people to understand.
Yes. So I grew up in Ghana. I was born in a village on an island as well called Afram Plains. It's in the eastern part of Ghana. I was raised by a wonderful grandmother who never attended school, never went to school. She is the foundation of my life because she taught me to be a man. So shout out to all the grandmothers raising sons and daughters out there.
Yeah.
I am a product of that.
I was specially raised by my grandmother too.
Sure.
So yes.
So where I grew up, I left the village around 1994. They first had electricity in 2002. So at the age of 14, I had never seen electricity in my life. Neither had I never saw a fridge, a refrigerator in my life.
At 14?
At the age of 14.
So 14, that is what, Brian? That's like, that's high school?
I think freshman year.
Freshman
high school, yeah. You'd never seen a refrigerator, never seen electricity. Go on.
But I had the best childhood you can think of. I didn't know anything. We were a bunch of kids growing up. Yeah. We were going to the same farm. We were walking miles to get water. We didn't have clean water. We struggled with the same things that every child in the village struggled with. When the moon came up, we played our hide and seek. The village was bright. I never thought that I was different. And I want people to know that I had the most happiest life of my life.
Yeah.
I never knew I lacked anything. Everything we ate came from the farm. We farmed 360 days a year. Whatever we ate came from our farm. Life was beautiful. We had missionaries there who had schools. We went there, we had fun. We were making stuff, going to the farm. So actual formal education where you are being taught to read and write, I never had it. But something happened to me at the age of 13. And I want everybody listening to me, I want to be a motivational figure for them today because everybody is going through life, facing difficulties at each corner of their lives. I went through a serious accident. I was supposed to die. I never died. So if everybody asks me, how did you make it? I want them to know that that accident gave me opportunity to see my first light. That accident gave me opportunity to eat my first yogurt. That accident gave me the opportunity to know how to write my own name, Frederick Odame. Yes, the accident was gruesome. The accident, I shouldn't have survived. I was run over by a farming tractor. The main things we do, we farm. When you are strong enough in the village, you are hired by the women to go and collect farms, to go and collect mangoes and stuff for you. And that accident, tractor crushed me. It was so gruesome that they had to walk to the nearest village, if I recall, and grab a jack to come and remove the big tire in front to pull me out. So as I see here, I'm a little bit, I have disability. It's not disability, short force. You will not know because I walk around with some bright smiles all the time.
Yes, you do.
And this hand cannot go as far as this will go, but nobody sees it. But through it all, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't have made it to the city, Accra, Ghana.
So you had to go to the city in
For
order
rehab,
for,
yes.
That's where you started interacting with,
Yes.
I guess, technology, so
Yeah.
to speak, electricity
So
and
the
all of
first
that.
time, that was around 1994. The accident happened, I believe, 1993, 2nd January. So about September thereof, I made it to the city for rehab, and that's where I never went back. So that's where the young
So
boy...
you never went
Frederick-
back to the village?
The village, yes.
Okay.
That's when that young boy saw electricity for the first time. That's where that young boy found out that, oh, he was different. That was when that boy found out that, no, it wasn't normal for somebody his age to not know when his birthday was.
Yeah. So with these things that you're being asked at the hospital, like, so what is your name? And they're noticing as you're at the hospital that maybe you don't know how to read, you cannot write your name, you don't know when your birthday is.
So when the accident happened, I was taken to the closest clinic or hospital in the village. It's called Donkokrum. So everybody who listen to this online, if you are from Afram, please share and let your friends know that there is somebody from your hometown who is in the U.S., in Cincinnati, Ohio, talking about the beautiful island of Afram Plains and Donkokrum. So I went to Donkokrum Hospital and I could hear them saying that they were going to amputate my legs and my hand. That's all I knew, where the woman who is the foundation of my life prevented them from doing so. So I was treated at home. I slept on the cement floor for almost a year, no pain medication. Imagine this accident. But I also want the audience to learn something. Okay. At my lowest time in my life, I found something. I found a voice, and that voice was about 7 to 9 months, where I had no peace, struggling. I couldn't walk. I picked up a bowl, aluminum pan, and started drumming my pain away. By doing that the first and second time, kids around the village came around me and were listening to the music. So it became a hobby. Every morning, after 6 months of the accident where I could sit down up straight, they'll pick me up in front of the house and I'll sit there and drum. So if everybody is listening to me and they are going through any hardship, I want them to find a way to drum their hardship away. I want them to find a way to drum their pain, their loneliness. So this boy going through that gruesome accident, I'm not saying it isn't difficult, it was difficult then, and whoever is going through tough times, sickness, divorce, marriage, work loss, you are growing through a lot. Don't waste time by indulging in things that will make it worse. Find opportunity and drum your pain away.
Did you say weight loss?
Divorce, job loss, weight loss is
Okay.
drum your pain away, and then you always find out there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So the hospital, they called me Frederick Odame, but my nickname growing up is Alulu. Everybody in that village called me Alulu.
How did you get that nickname?
It was given to me by a family friend. Alulu. So if somebody wants to follow me on social media, Instagram, my life on there is called The Life of Alulu. So I tell stories of struggles and overcoming determination and not quitting. and not giving up. Follow me if you can.
So as you're going through this, and you have this really tragic, but not ending injury, and it seems an opportunity. And I love the drumming your hardship away, and I think that's a great lesson. And you talked about you learned where you were different. You learned that also that, and even to this day, you feel gratitude, and that you, even though there was no electricity, you were on a farm, you lived in abundance. And I think now of kids today with no electricity, that means no Wi-Fi, no phone. They feel like they have nothing. And so I think what you're saying is really important to hear. So as you're going through this kind of convalescence period, this healing period, and you're saying now you're talking about, going through that hardship, who are the adults around you? You mentioned your grandmother. You're now in Accra. Who is around you that is helping you at this time and teaching you about what the good life is? And what was a good life to you then? And I'm curious because how that evolves over time.
So I want you to know that my life is not a normal life, okay? Because it's the true Frederick Odame is Frederick Odame because of that life called Alulu. I want you to know there's a persona behind him. So the only person in his life was a grandmother. My mom was in England as an immigrant, okay? Wasn't legal, so couldn't come home. And she was taking care of cousins from not 1, not 2, not 10, over 20, okay? So I knew my mom
village
wasn't around, but I could feel her presence throughout. I only ate rice once a year during Christmas. So Christmas was my favorite season. Those were the times I would get new clothes or new shoes, or I would walk barefooted without shoes on. So mom wasn't there. I never lived with my mother. So my grandmother was the only pillar of my life. Yes, I have aunties around, but I survived under a woman who became a man and a woman at the same time. May her soul rest in peace. So when the accident happened at the age of 13, 10, and 14, I had nobody to look up to except my grandmother. And I grew up quickly because at the age of 7, the oldest cousins left. So I became the de facto leader in the house with about 9 cousins. So I took the responsibility of most of the bringing the heavy things from the farm, pounding the African fufu for all of them to eat.
Do you have a grandfather, uncles?
My grandfather died at the age of 5. My uncles were not living with us.
So it really was just your
It
grandmother.
was, so I became independent at a young age. I could see a grandmother's face, and you could see it was dry season. There were no pepper to cook for all these empty stomachs. And I had to quickly go to the farm and chase squirrels. And anytime I come home with something or mushrooms, you could see smiles from this woman's face. So nobody had to tell me that I had to grow up. And that's what I ended up getting the accident through. I started being a leader at a young age. I started controlling my friends. Some were older than me. So because we had to play soccer, we were either playing sand in the socks or playing oranges or mangoes around with no shoes on. So if we had to go to the forest and carry timber so that we get paid. I had to organize them. So I found out that my learnings, my leadership skills, and my ability to learn without getting any recognition and staying back and making sure that I'm leading came from that childhood. And how I became older at a young age, becoming a leader at home, being given the responsibility and seeing a grandmother at a young age who didn't have, if my mother or my uncle did not send her money, she had nothing to feed us. And it comes to a time where you had the money, but you couldn't buy anything because the dry season was there. So I didn't have anybody. When I came to the city and I went to the school for the first time, I was bullied. I was mocked at. You know Africa. If you can't speak English,
of where you're coming from.
If you can't speak English, you are not intelligent. If you look different, I was older.
Yeah.
And then I didn't even know my date of birth. You think about it, where people were celebrating
And then
birthday.
you're suddenly in school.
And
you're learning how to read and write at 14.
And I could not even spell Wednesday. But I want audiences to know, every environment you find yourself, make it a point and look for one or two people who can help you.
Absolutely.
If you find those people, rely on them. So if you go into my life, you see that consistently I'm looking to offer help to people, or I'm bringing people who can help me into my life, or even I'm creating an environment where people can get the help they need.
So who was that, Fred? Who turned around the trajectory for you?
My mother. When I came to the city, she didn't ask me to go back.
Okay.
So then I had to enroll in school. So I went to live with an uncle that I'll leave the name out because we live an uncle.
Yeah. You gotta keep the family peace.
Yes. Yes. I went to live with an uncle who was busy starting life. So there, I slept on the floor again, which was beautiful. Why? I'm seeing electricity. So will I think about sleeping on the floor?
No.
The floor was a mat. On the floor, I had light.
It's marvelous.
I was eating rice once, for God's sake. I was eating rice once a year. Christmas, now I can eat rice.
And have yogurt.
I remember the first time going to buy egg. Where in the village, if I don't go and get a wild egg, I don't eat egg. And in Accra, I can buy egg. I could buy ice water.
Yeah.
And even when I was tasty, I wasn't tasty, I was buying because the feel of just drinking it cold meant a lot. So from this, I know we are having fun. I want all the essence to know that, yes, we need a lot of resources in our lives. We need the beautiful cars, the beautiful houses. But truly look at where you sleep. It's very small. You wake up and you go to work. Yes, you need resources for yourself, but at what point do you tell yourself you are giving yourself too much pressure? To me, having chicken, not once a year.
So you're living this life in Accra. It's just a world of wonder. Of just
wonderful. I'm eating
all
chicken.
Yes,
I'm eating chicken.
I can
eat
factory.
eggs. Come on, look at this boy.
I bet you're bulking up too, just like
you are happy.
Running around and
the moon wasn't my light anymore, right? I'm seeing electricity. But then the joy turned around where I went to school and I faced a different life. And one point in time, I nearly ran back to my comfort zone. So again, I'll turn back to the audience. If you find difficulty, don't run away.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Find somebody you can relate to in life, somebody who will listen to you and talk to them. Mine at that time was a guy called Oklahoma. In British style of education, you are ranked according to one to the last. They don't know that they are putting pressure on kids unknowingly. The system actually makes people not successful because people like me, the system will kick you out. Then I find the last boy in class that I went and took his position. And what did I do? Even though everybody thought he was the worst student, he was the best person to help me because he also came from the village. And that's why I'm saying that.
And probably all the other kids were also ostracizing him.
Yes, so there's a boy who was also struggling, came and lived with an uncle who was a carpenter, selling in the street where I also come and sell on that same street too. I went to him to ask for help, and he did. I didn't stop there. I went to the best student because I could relate to him. His mother was struggling, single mother raising him, but he was smart. So the owner of the school was paying his tuition. His name is Evans. He's one of my best friends in Ghana now. And as soon as I get to Ghana, he comes to my home and stays with me. I went to him to teach me. So the story of Alulu started in that village, or Frederick Odame started in that village. Went through gruesome accident, makes it to Accra. After Accra, went to a school. He nearly ran away because he couldn't survive in the school. But then a teacher makes a comment to him. This teacher called me one time, seeing that I was struggling, and told me in my face that people like you grow up to become the best in our society. And what that did for me, the inspiration, and then relying on two people to teach me, took me to one of the best boys' schools in Ghana. So if people are listening to me, they are listening to a true life story, not any motivational talking, but real life. Don't forget where you come from. Any stage you get, find the right people to mentor you, the right people to guide you, the right people who can help you. If you cannot, do not give up. There's always hope at the end of the tunnel.
Absolutely. And I think, and we'll get into this down the road, but I think where, that your now friend that you met in high school, I think when people come to the U.S., they're looking for someone that has had a similar experience, same hardship going. It sounds like your friend had a similar experience going into the school, being an outsider, not having a similar life experience, but you did, and he saw that in you and was able to you brought him onto your team.
Yes.
And I feel that happens so much. And we mentioned APNET and some other organizations, and we'll talk about that as well. So as you go, you mentioned the school. At what point did goals for academics come in? And did you go to university in Ghana? Was that here in the U.S.?
No.
Or?
So on top of facing academic hardship, financial hardship, I sold on the street of Accra, sweets. Okay? La Paz, if you are from La Paz in Accra and you are watching, this is your boy.
You were there.
I was there. Maliwa House.
Did you have any vision of America at this point?
At that point, no vision at all. America did not cross.
Not
so
even
I want us to
even
spend about 1 minute to talk
doing.
about something that happened quickly that changed the trajectory of my life. The system was so bad that even food was used as a punishment or reward. So even at the school, whoever ate first was the person who did well in an exam. So here is the case for over a year, I'm eating the last time in class.
Wow.
Because I was the last person in the class. And you are fed according to how you were doing during extra time. So Alulu or Frederick being that kind of a guy who instinctively always look at what is going to happen. We were given Zimbabwe, I don't know, that was how it was, where you guys would do dictations as exams, you would go through merits, everybody is ranked.
Oh, yeah.
British style of education, Ghana, yeah.
The British are very good at casting.
Yeah. So with that, I knew they were going to repeat me because I wasn't that good. But then the man came up and gave prepositions in French. But my instincts informed me that this man may give us dictation in that number of prepositions. So I studied it, memorized them, and one day, lo and behold, he came into class and said, we're going to do a dictation, and it's going to be about French, it's going to be about prepositions in French, and I can't speak any French today. Guess what? That young boy had learned. So they say that prepare yourself before the opportunity comes. If you don't do that, you don't have a right to be given the opportunity, or when you go, you fail. So that day, who was on top? The boy from that village. I was rewarded, and then I ate first for that day. And I told myself I will never eat last again. And fast forward, in less than 2 years, I made it to one of the boys' high school, Catholic schools in the country, Pope John Secondary School. Went on to become a student leader. And even there, I performed so hard in class at one time with the same ranking, was #1 business student. And when I wanted to run for office, and shout out to my Pope John boys in Ghana, I'm coming home in August. I know we have our reunion. I'm looking forward to meeting all of you.
That's great.
So Pope John Secondary School, elections came, and somebody said to me that you are not popular enough to be able to run for office. You cannot win elections. So I could have listened to that voice. So what did I do? I went and picked up the form.
I'm going to do it.
And submitted the form and ran for office. So that boy who couldn't write his name 3 years before won a general election and became one of the best. And the equivalency of Pope John Secondary School to a school here is like maybe Mola St. X. They go around picking the best from the country to come there. Here is a school that I found myself from the village. I didn't belong there. But what? I belong there in my thoughts,
Yeah.
my aggressiveness, my conscience, my competitive nature, and not giving anybody to have a say what my life should be. I ran for office and successfully won and led over 1,000 boys. And every day I talk to some of my mates. They are surprised that I wasn't even from the city. How did I make it to that school? And then I'll talk about how I ended up in the U.S. And then we'll talk more about...
Fred, that is really impressive because I know, just given where, what you have talked about, where you're coming from, and I know the environment that you're doing all of this. Like Africa, Zimbabwe, Ghana, these are not countries where, say, oh, you can make it. That whole idea is novel. Like, yeah, it doesn't matter where you come from. You kind of know, like, hey, if I just kind of work hard, I can make it. I feel like we come from societies where, honestly, you were not supposed to ever make it because people just don't. You have no teachers that are rallying for you. The community is not rallying for you. This whole idea of rallying for the underdog does not exist. So even you having the audacity, right, to just say, I'm going to run for student council and making it says a lot for you to be able to convince those boys to lead you.
Thank you.
These are like boys that are coming from respectable, elite households, and you're like, I'm going to lead you. Like that alone for me, when you're telling me your story, said it all just about the person you are, and talks a lot to.
And then on top of that, you can't come home to a parent when you are lonely.
Yeah.
And that's where I've made some career choices for my kids today. That if I didn't go through that life of loneliness, of not having a father or a mother around, where you are at your bottom, when you're at your bottom to go and cry to, I chose family, or I've chosen family over career and money. So thank you for recognizing that. I appreciate it.
No, and we hear. I mean, I think it's a great lesson going on too, right? Like we hear often a lot about imposter syndrome. I don't belong in this room. I'm not worthy to be here. But it's a good reminder that, like you and Claire have said, where, you're not supposed to be the leader. But you said, not only am I supposed to be here, I am going to be the leader in this room among this group of kids. And I feel like that carries on as an adult into what you're doing now. And I think it's a good lesson for others, like when that feel, I mean, I even get it now, right? But I have to remind myself, wait, I'm here for a reason. Other people brought me in this room for a reason. And then I see that and like, oh, I can lead too. I think that's a good message for the people listening as well, is that, no, you belong where you are. And if you can always strive to be better, a better place, but then don't listen to that negative voice or that person blocking you. You know your strengths.
Right.
And you make a point. Know your strength.
Yeah. So how did you end up in the States, Fred?
Yes.
So we're moving into, our podcast is Roots, Roots and Voices. So we try to thread, where you're coming from, Ghana, the route that you took to actually come to the United States, and then the voice that you've ever made. So let's get more into the route of you actually coming to the United States. How did you end up here? And what were your first impressions when you arrived, given everything that you had just left?
Thank you so much. So I want everybody listening to us, especially the young folks around, I want them to know that opportunity comes but once. When that opportunity comes, take advantage and make sure that you are not letting that opportunity come or pass you by. I finished Pope John Secondary School with flying colors. I did well as a student leader, passed, and was accepted into University of Ghana, Legon. So you imagine, from that village where I left a grandmother who didn't go to school. And in the family, the only person, my grandfather had about 22 children. There were only 2 people that I could recall that had made it to a university. My oldest uncle, who then lived in London, and an uncle in Ghana. So you are talking about generation 1, 2, 3, nobody went to school. And I'm the 3rd person to ever make it to university. It was a dream come true. I have achieved the unthinkable. But then a woman made a statement to me. My children go to school called NKU in America. And in fact, next day, my wife and my daughter, my youngest daughter, is going there. So why don't you go to her and get the address to the school and the name to go, the person who is in charge to write to. So listen to this opportunity. My daughter is leaving tomorrow
To go to
in
NKU.
the morning to a school called Northern Kentucky University. And I'll pause here.
Where?
Northern,
I know, Brian always wants to know, like, of all the places,
yes,
how do you
all
get
the
it?
places.
So here you go. So
NKU.
imagine that.
I want
Right.
10 days, and I want to say to my NKU community that I'm a fan, I'm a nurse, and I'll forever be a nurse. And I've served as alumni board council, and I resigned years back. But I want Dr. Thompson, Eric Gentry, College of Business, everybody to know Frederick Odame is a proud nurse, and I'll always be a nurse because you guys brought me here.
Yeah.
And because of you, I am here with my family. So with this information from a woman, I believe it was around 6 p.m. in the night or 6:30 in the night.
It's ingrained. Yeah.
In Africa, that time the lights are or the sun is down, and the house was over 3 miles away from where I lived. And I was in charge of, after high school, I was still that boy that lived with people. I was in charge of cleaning, pounding the fufu, washing dishes after everybody ate. And I was doing that even though my friends were not doing the same. I'm a boy, high school, a student leader. But look at what I was doing at home. I finished, and what did I do? I walked and ran to Taifa in Accra, a suburb of Accra, to collect the address. The next day, I took a piece of paper and wrote a letter to NKU. My name is Frederick Odame. I just finished Pope John Secondary School. I'll be grateful if I could be admitted to NKU. 6 months after that letter, I made it to Northern Kentucky University. So anybody, if you're a young person going through difficulty, you think life is leaving you behind, do not think so. You have so much opportunity in the United States that many kids or young people around the world don't have. Don't give yourself excuses by comparing yourself to others who have been born on a silver platter, who have been born on a mountain. The deeper hole you find yourself, remember your survival instinct is stronger than those who have been handed over everything.
That is so true.
Yep.
You have something that people who have it all don't have. And you can survive. Do not give up. Imagine if Alulu was not born in a village without electricity, he wouldn't walk and run 2-3 miles in the night to go and get the address. Why? He grew up in a village, so he could.
Yeah.
Do not forget where you come from, and never ever underestimate where you were born at and what you have. The next day I wrote this letter to NKU, and that's why I'm sitting in front of you for you all to interview me. So that's how I made it to the United States.
Did NKU respond? Did they
Yes.
respond? They sent you application
Yes,
like,
the letter
thank
came,
you, but here are some application forms to complete.
and we need excellence, and then we need an email address.
All right. Ooh.
And I had never used a computer.
Yeah,
As
and
of
this is the early
2001.
2000s, like Yahoo.
2001, you think?
Yeah.
After 9/11, this boy or a man sitting in front of you had never used a computer.
Yeah.
So I took a piece of paper and wrote that letter. When the application came, I had to go and create Odame2002gh@yahoo.com. And yeah, I remember all
I
that.
love that
right.
because I also had like a Yahoo email 2002. I
Yeah.
don't know what. But anyway, so what pulled you toward banking? Was it a deliberate choice, or did the banking path find you?
Yeah. Was that your first major at NKU?
So
Yeah.
at NKU, I did corporate finance
Okay.
with a minor in business management. So NKU, I struggled. For tuition. That was, so NKU, let's pause a little bit. That admission to NKU, people don't know, NKU might not know, gave me the opportunity to see my own mother for the first time.
For the first time.
For the first time in my life. I remember at the beginning of the interview,
she left when you were a child. Yeah.
And couldn't come home.
Yeah.
So I also want to take this opportunity to also remind every immigrant in our society today who is afraid, who is scared. Keep your head up. My mother went through it. One point in time, I struggled myself. And know that you are lucky enough, at least here in Cincinnati, you have leaders who care about you as well.
Right.
You have a city that cares about you. So I made it to London for the first time, and then Heathrow Airport was when I met my own mother for the first time. Don't shed tears.
Oh, wow.
Don't go there. Yeah. So NKU did so much for me, gave me opportunity for a future, gave me opportunity to see my own mother for the first time. So I passed through London and spent 2 weeks before coming here. So the immigrant life touches me from every corner. The struggle from every stage of my life was not easy, but the pursuit of not giving up and determination to look for the next opportunity kept me going. So yeah, I made it here, studied finance with a minor in business management on campus, straight African Student Union. I was a member, get to go, with Prince as our president. And I want everybody to know that the woman that gave me that address to come to NKU is the mother of my 4 children today.
Oh, wow. That's great.
So, yes.
I did not know that about you.
So that is the story.
That's great.
Everything is a joy. So the walk 3 or 4 months that night gave me a school and a future in the United States of America. And later on in my struggles, the same woman came in and helped me raise my oldest son and became my wife, where she adopted my oldest son, who is now in the U.S. Army, Bryan Odame. And then we have together 4 kids. So.
What a way to give back.
Right.
Like join the U.S. Army. I love that.
Right.
I love that.
And there's many others. And I feel like NKU, Northern Kentucky University, is, as I learn in meeting people, you mentioned Prince with the African Professional Network, Jane and some others, that so many folks in the African diaspora here in the region came here by way of Northern Kentucky
NKU,
University.
yeah.
I feel like NKU is the gateway for this region to the continent of Africa in some ways, right? So that's fantastic.
Well, I think let's take a break.
Sure.
Yeah. And then when we come back, we can get more into the route and talk about what you're doing now. And
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. A word from our studio home this season. Roots, Routes and Voices records at the Marketer Collaborative at 15 East 14th Street in Cincinnati. It's a space built for people who believe that creative work and meaningful work belong in the same room. We do too. Schedule your tour at themarketercollab.com.
Welcome back, everybody. So we want to pick up, so you're in Northern Kentucky, you're studying at Northern Kentucky University, you're making friends, you're studying. And when you graduate, or maybe it's while you're still in school, but at what point does Northern Kentucky, Cincinnati, the broader region, start to shift from a place where you're studying and a temporary potential stop along your journey and becomes more of a permanent home?
Yeah, I think that was around 2006. The goal for me was to move out of Cincinnati towards a place like New York, Washington. The goal then was to get my master's degree and then also a PhD in finance, and then return back to Africa through organizations such as World Bank, IMF, IFC. I was ambitious.
Right.
Growing up. Everything that I plan to do, I'm thinking 3-5 years ahead so that I can consistently plan towards that. So something happened 2006, where I went to class. Everybody was talking about co-op. Everybody was talking about internship. And I never I didn't have that experience. So I remember calling my academic advisor and saying to her that, Leslie, I wanted to come and see you the next day. Leslie said, oh, I don't have space, I don't have time. As aggressive as I was like, no, I needed to see you. And when something comes to your mind that something isn't right, follow your instincts. I want the audiences, people who are listening to us, to know that God has given us something in us as human beings. If something is not right, you see it first or hear that first. If something is going to be good, you get the idea.
Mm-hmm.
So
listen
act
to
on
intuition.
your intuition. Yeah. So Leslie said I only had lunch, and consistently you can see that the stories you are telling, there were some times where there is a light switch and something happens. So I go to Leslie the next day, and then I told Leslie, I don't have intention, I don't have experience, I don't have anything. And then Leslie said to me that she was teaching a class called Career Enhancement. I didn't need that class to survive or graduate, but if you want to take it, that would be good for you. So that class, they were teaching us table etiquette, interviewing skills, soft skills, job interviews. So I decided to enroll in that class, and that's how I ended up finding my first banking job.
Nice.
And that's how I made Cincinnati my home. Mm-hmm. I found a job here. I didn't have to move to New York or Washington. And then as soon as I found a job, I realized that I was expecting a son too. So with my son and a job here, I made Cincinnati a home. And I made the best decision for myself. And I believe today that was the best decision then, and it's still the best decision today. And Cincinnati region, Greater Cincinnati region offers immigrants like myself a place to be. We have a vibrant economy here in Ohio, in the U.S. I know young people tend to want to move to Chicago or Houston now, Texas. I just came back from Phoenix. Phoenix look beautiful, but I also believe we have the industries here in Greater Cincinnati than places that I go to, and I made the right decision making Cincinnati my home. Yeah.
That's great. And so the bank that you started with, is that the bank you're with now?
Yes.
Okay.
20 years in counting.
Fantastic.
Don't see that anymore. Loyalty. Yeah.
And I know with some of your work at PNC, you do a lot of work to help mid-size, and correct me if I'm wrong, with mid-size businesses, especially immigrant and minority entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. Could you talk a little bit about that work and some of the positive and good opportunities there are, but also some opportunities for improvement and growth?
Yes. So I want you to know I'm not representing PNC.
Sure, of course.
So full disclosure, this is my own
right.
Frederick Odame words only, and does not fully represent PNC Bank.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I cover Sims Township, Kenwood, Montgomery area, all the way through Clifton. But I have clients all over. I've covered Ken County, I've covered Campbell County, I've covered downtown. So my space is businesses up to 10 million in revenue. But I still have businesses who are 20, 30 that I take care of in revenue. Some are from immigrant communities. I have customers from all over the world, Middle East, Europe, Asia, Africa. One thing that I want to say to all immigrant business owners is this. Most banks are the same, but whoever you work with can make a difference in terms of knowledge, in terms of experience, and in terms of being able to craft your story to somebody who doesn't know you. Okay? So access to information is very critical.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay? Most banks are the same. They want to give out loans, they want to support every businesses, but they also have to protect themselves. Mm-hmm. So having the right person to advise you, to guide you, to help you craft a business plan is very important. Mm-hmm. And I want African immigrants to know that. Access to credit in the United States of America, you cannot run a successful business with cash. That's why we have SBA to help you guarantee portion of a loan so bank can support you with a portion with your own equity injection. Seek somebody who will tell you the truth, who will advise you and say, hey, you need to take care of your financial character, your personal financial character. That means your personal credit, you are treating it as gold.
Right.
Okay, that is your personal financial character. And that this is, you need to take baby step in growing access to credit. If you can do that, every bank will want you 3 years, 4 years of doing the right thing.
Fred, talk a little bit more about that, because I can't tell you the amount of African immigrants, especially that I meet, that just do not believe in credit, because the whole idea of understanding how critical it is in the U.S. to get into debt in order to be successful. That is something even I, on a personal level, struggle with getting credit, because I'm just like, it feels like a boulder, like, why do I want this crashing on me?
Yeah.
But it's really critical in business to say, you want to succeed, you're going to have to take some form of credit in order to run a business. Can you talk more about maybe why that is important?
So there is something called cash flow. Okay, so on the personal level, you have to work, you have to make an income to pay for your car. You can buy a car with cash, but you have to buy gas to fuel the car. You need to get paid to have the money to do that. The same way, even if you buy your home with cash, you have to pay the property taxes, you have to pay electricity, you have to pay for water. So cash flow on the personal level applies to cash flow on the business level. For you to have a good cash flow system means that you are not depending on credit, but you are using credit. That is the misconception that we have. And it's not the fault of an African immigrant, especially from where I come from, Ghana. Access to credit is limited to the few. And that's why United States of America is the greatest country on earth. There's you cannot find that in anywhere around the world where credit is available to everybody. It's available to everybody, but if you don't have the information to access it, it becomes difficult. Again, I'll repeat something. Credit is available to everybody in the United States. Okay? We can have a conversation different about that. But the information and the guidance and the preparation to get there is where sometimes we as immigrants, we miss it. And the immigrant having credit card will see 21%, which financially is not good. So to me, having that credit card is bad, right? Okay. By using that credit card wisely means that you can technically use the bank's money for free if you are smart. If you are not financially intelligent, you cannot. There are some fees and interests you cannot avoid. And that's why the bank will give you the credit card, because they have to make money back, right? So it's your job and your responsibility as a business owner to making sure that you are playing within the rules of engagement. If I have credit card, I know 30 days, I'm not paying interest, right? So if I don't pay it off, then I'm going to pay 21%. So if I can, within 30 days, I'm using it till I get my paycheck. And then I'll take that. If I pay that off, I have a zero balance to do what? To use it again. So it's called cash flow. Okay? If there is 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, I cannot pay it off, as a business owner, that is the cost of doing business. That's why IRS allows you to write the interest off. So when you say you have money, you don't have asset, you don't need credit, then I'll tell you, go and ask Jay-Z if Jay-Z has a loan or not. You'll be surprised that a good advisor will tell Jay-Z or Beyonce.
Oh, Jay-Z. Right? Gotcha.
A good financial advisor will not tell Jay-Z not to have any debt. Right?
Even though he can afford
Even
to
though
pay
they can afford to
everything
pay
in cash.
everything off. So debt is golden. Debt increases your net worth. It's how you use it is the most important thing. Right. So anytime I walk into an immigrant store, even though sometimes they are not in my segment, and if they come to me, sometimes I have to send them to one of my branch managers. I also give them my card and say, if you have any questions, please call me. When I say please call me, I want you to know I'm in banking. I sound and look like you with 20 years experience. I'll be able to tell you something that if you follow up without what I'm telling you, you will thank me 12 months from now. But I cannot force you to do it.
Right.
You have to believe me.
12 months, that's not a long time to turn
You have to
around
believe
things.
me. You have to trust me for the fact that I have a finance degree in corporate finance. I have a master's degree in global management. And I have 20 years that supersedes a PhD. So if I say, do A, B, C, D, know that I've given it to multi-million businesses and they followed me. And that is working for them. And it's not easy. If you are opening a store and you want to sell something and make quick money, and somebody is telling you, if you don't have credit, then everything you have, go and pay it off before you do something. It's hard.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to set up a whole separate podcast just focusing on business services and
that's exactly
finance.
what I was going to say. Like, this is a whole other podcast that we would need to do to just understand, the intelligence and everything that you're saying right now.
Well, wouldn't quite. So just thinking about like immigrant entrepreneurs. So we know nationally that in 2023, immigrants founded 1 in 5 new businesses. And we know that's where a lot of job growth happens, is with new businesses. We know, like, for Main Street businesses, restaurants, hair, nail salons, laundry, laundromats and things, that immigrants make up 27% of Main Street businesses. We also know that immigrants have founded over half of the billion-dollar startups, the unicorn businesses here.
Unicorn brands,
Yeah, immigrants are highly entrepreneurial for a variety of reasons. Part of it's just because, the journey it takes to come here, as well as, some of the negatives were barriers to mainstream employment. So we think about immigrant entrepreneurs here in the region, 10% of the businesses here are owned by immigrants. Again, highly entrepreneurial in the region. So we think about immigrants starting businesses. It seems, and to what you're sharing, is that there's not an absence of resources. It's more about knowledge and awareness of these resources and how and when to access them. And it seems in part potentially that might have been one of the reasons for founding APNET, to help folks from the diaspora to connect to people who have had that experience. Like you said, you shared, I speak the language.
Yes.
I had the experience. I have now 20 years of experience. So how do we multiply people like you in the community to be beacons of light and information for newcomers that are arriving to get this information? So it's not really a question. It's just kind of a comment of some things you're sharing. And but I think that, does that, those opportunities for connecting, is that part of the reason why APNET came about and some of the other work you're doing?
Yeah, probably. But I think in the spirit of your question, Bryan, or maybe what you did not ask, would be like,
thanks for finding it for me. Yeah.
What do you see? Given everything that Bryan has just said, your experience, organizations like APNET, the African Professionals Network, for those who don't know, it's an organization in Cincinnati that helps African immigrants really, integrate, into the Cincinnati community, which Fred was a co-founder along with other NKU alum like me. So what do you see between all of that probably the system does not see? It's a difficult question, but I think there's something to be said between access to capital and lack of access to capital. Where is the gap?
So the creation of APNET came to mind at a juncture where I was asked by my employer to look for people like me. So see what I'm talking about.
So this is 20 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
My employer, my direct manager came to me and said, Frederick, we want you to be part of the recruiting team on UC campus. And as successful as you have been, we are looking for people like you.
Right.
Okay. So I remember I reached out to the president of Ghana Association at that time, which I was executive. I was a financial secretary then. I reached out to the Nigerian community. I reached out to Senegalese. And I went to UC and I did not find any African student in his or her third year or a graduate student. So I went to Prince and I'm like, something is not right. I am a branch manager, a successful branch manager, one of the top in the United States of America. I am being asked to keep my eyes open for people who look and sound and can work like me. And I was unsuccessful. So from my background was the foundation that led to the creation of APNET. And then in forming APNET, the goal was where networking, we cannot leave the community that we leave behind, community engagement, and priority business engagement. Without successful businesses to thrive and bring businesses, APNET will not be successful. So the mission then was networking, business, and community engagement to provide the information that I'm talking about. There are so much resources in the city of Cincinnati, Hamilton County, and the state level that cannot be handed over to you.
All right.
They are earmarked for certain things. Information as to how to organize yourself to qualify, sometimes we in the immigrant community, we lack. Okay? And forgive the city if the city is not writing you a check. The check is earmarked for something. You must present a case to qualify for that something, whether at the county or Hamilton. And then in jobs, as we think about jobs, when you are an African immigrant, and I'll give my story on the table, I always say something. My success in banking came at a critical time where it took me 5 months to take a job that I wasn't interested in. But I wasn't prepared enough to take the other job. And I was finishing NKU, bachelor's degree, and I wanted to be a personal banker. I didn't get it. I was looking at Fidelity Investments, and I was told that there was a customer service job. You switch between office, and that your pay was, then I didn't like it. But that 5 months of taking that role gave me the foundation that I needed. When we say access to information, sometimes we need some foundation. Access to certain jobs, you need information, you need some preparation. And I will conclude by saying that APNET was formed to provide that platform for that information, the community engagement and business environment. And I want to say to Dr. Ellis for doing a great job. After I left, he has successfully got APNET going. And we need more people like him who work selflessly in creating the future for the young people coming up. Because again, no matter the difficulties we face in the United States of America, I'm passionate and I'm optimistic that this country, there's no any other country than USA, where immigrants and people of color can have that opportunity to thrive and make it. There's no place like that in the world than the USA.
Shout out to Dr. Prince Ellis as well.
Amen. We should probably talk about it because we keep referring to him as Prince Dr. Ellis, but I don't think our audience will know, who is he to you?
Oh, Dr. Ellis is the president of
Dr.
African
Prince Ellis.
Professional. He is a professor at University of Cincinnati, and also lucky to be my brother-in-law. And he and I and two other individuals founded APNET about 16 plus years ago, and he continues to lead APNET to where it is today. So, yeah.
Awesome. All right. Let's move on to maybe the voice now, because I think we're getting close to time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Fred, there's so much that we can sit here and talk about, and unfortunately, we just don't have enough time. I know we should bring you back for season 3, honestly. So let's talk about family. We did talk about family as you're growing up, but we haven't really talked about family and identity right now as it stands in this day and age for you. Those are threads to your stories. You know, you're referring to how you saw your mom for the first time when you came here. So how do those 3 things hold together in your daily life now? Are they ever in tension with each other?
Yes. So I share with you my childhood of not having the normal family life.
Right.
I didn't grow up in a household where there was a presence of a father and a mother.
Yeah.
And I chose that over everything. I made a promise to myself that my children will always live with me till they grow. And that I'll turn the knob the opposite way. And that I won't make any career decisions that will affect my family. So family-wise, my wife and I, we've been together. We've been married for over 15 years now. My son, oldest son, is 19 and in the U.S. Army. In Augusta now, about to be sent outside the country in a good area. So he's serving. He's a U.S. soldier. So I know he belongs to the country and not me.
We are going to be praying for him.
Yes. And then I have a 15-year-old who goes to Lakota West and plays EYBL, elite basketball. So we just came back from Phoenix, playing the elite basketball league. Plays for freshman Lakota West starter. And I have a 14-year-old son home, and then a 6-year-old. Between my wife and I, my wife is a nurse practitioner and family nurse practitioner. And religious-wise, I have a firm belief that we are a representation of God in everything we do. In the household, a man represents God in front of his or her children or his children. So in my household, I preach that I have to be sound and I have to be, in the eye of God, a representation where I carry that message to my kids. And I would advise every parent out there doing the same thing for their children, that they are not doing that in vain. They are doing God's work in the household. So my spirituality is very deep. I grew up here going to Church of Pentecost Christian. I believe my foundation in the house I grew up with, my grandfather, young age, was an African traditionalist spirituality.
Okay.
And I also believe that I hold that dear in believing that there's a common purpose with the African tradition as well. But in the end, I want everybody listening to know that if there is God somewhere, they should look into the mirror and look into themselves as a representation of the God on this planet Earth. And how we treat our neighbors represent God. How we treat our own family. At the workplace, we are not there just to earn an income.
Right.
How we treat people around us and the respect and customers, the way we do, carry us through. So that is my belief and my spirituality and family life.
Yeah. What a long arc for that 13-year-old boy from Ghana.
Right.
So if you could speak directly to that 13-year-old self, given everything that you have lived, looking at, because I'm always really amazed, like sometimes when I look at how my kids are going through life, they are graduating, they're seniors in high school right now, graduating, and just how they go about their lives at 17, and they can get in their cars, go wherever they want, like total schedules all by themselves, which is very different from how I grew up. But so when you are thinking about that 13-year-old self, that boy that could not read, what would you want him to know? Or what have you learned that is really something that has come full circle for you?
Sure. So I will point to those listening to us that there is a highway that they drive on every time. My highway is Highway 471, Northern Kentucky Highway. And the reason why I'm saying that, and I'll tell a young Frederick Odame at age 13, that when you are driving on a highway, sometimes the highway is long. You may not know the next exit. You are confident, you sit in your car and you drive. When I finished NKU, the graduation ceremony was done at the US Bank Arena in downtown. I didn't know my left or my right. All I remember was sitting in the car facing 471 back to Newport. And I said to myself, I don't know what's going to happen. I know the road is going to be long, but what I will never do is to give up. I will drive this highway as long as I can and I will never fail. So I'll tell young boy, and then I'll point to Alulu, who was 13 then. There is so much ahead of you. As you drive on a highway, as you listen to your parents, if you have some, if you don't have some and you adapt it, if you're in a foster home, if you are hearing distraction from your class, remember, when you sit in a car, there is a road ahead of you. Consider yourself on that road, that you have a journey, a place you are going to. Don't get distracted. If you are confused, it's okay. If you fall out during the ride, it's okay. Don't remain on the ground and keep going. Keep your head above the water. And if you do that, I can guarantee you always look back in the rear view mirror and you only use that for direction and for correction. But you never look back and say, I wanted to be there anymore. You are always moving forward. So that's what I'll tell young Alulu.
Amazing.
I appreciate that. And thank you for sharing that. The one, and when you think looking forward and what you've done professionally in your career in banking, the roots you've established and the family that you've raised and are now out in the world doing wonderful things, or starting to, young as 6, and the community you've built with, organizations like APNET, your board memberships. You're building a legacy. You're also building a community.
Yes.
So, and I understand what you're saying, to not look in the rearview mirror, but I don't think these legacy is a past. It's currently living in the present.
Yes.
Because we're seeing this happening now. Where does this look like in 5 to 10 years? Where are you going next?
So 5 to 10 years, and at the beginning of the conversation, I asked followers to follow me on my social media platform, The Life of Alulu, or The Life of Alulu Official, on Instagram and Facebook. There may be an YouTube coming up. I want my life to be a motivational stone for people to stand on and pick it up and also throw into their future. If I was able to survive it, they can, so long as they don't give up. APNET was an idea. It was a dream that if APNET gets created, people like me in the future will find the resources easier than we did. That was the goal. And if there's any young person here in Greater Cincinnati, immigrant or no immigrant, consider APNET as the organization to be with. If you're looking for words of inspiration, there's a book coming up, The Life of Alulu. Grab it, okay? The next 5 years, I'll be doing more podcasts if opportunity arises. For me, I'll be doing more of board membership and services to guide. If opportunity comes for organizations to reach out to me, there are so many unspoken words from my experience in corporate America that I know if HRs will be open to pay attention to me, in closed doors, I'll be able to say things that will make changes for entire organization. So my next step within the next 2, 3, 5 years is to be a voice out there for people in despair to smile. For people, young boys who are going through what I've been through, whether you've been bullied before, don't give up. Whether you've struggled before, don't give up. whether you don't have a space to belong, create it on your own. It's not easy. I will not underestimate the experiences that people go through, especially the mental of society is so much. But look for books and read books that will encourage you. Look for motivational speakers and listen to them. Seek help if you are going through difficult times. Remember, everybody you see on television, the rich, the old, the poor, everybody has problems. Mm-hmm. We all choose to handle them differently. So the next 5 years, I'll be having a book launch, simple as The Life of Alulu. I will never forget where I came from, and that's why I picked that title, The Life of Alulu. I am Frederick Odame today because I never shied away from the fact that I'm a village boy. The fact that I didn't know how to read and write at the age of 14. And I'm not shy about it. Mm-hmm. That I had never seen electricity. But I can tell you that when opportunity comes, I don't play with the opportunity. If I have to do my job, I make sure I do it to the level where nobody can have anything to say about it, because I'll give it all and I live in peace. So,
Frederick, that is such a good place to come to an end. We thank you so much for being here, and I want to end on the idea that was just coming to me as you were talking about Life of Alulu and how you want to be a motivator. And I'm like, I don't think people need to be motivated or to be inspired. I'm thinking like, you are evidence. Yes. Right? That's really what it is. It's like you're the evidence. And to anyone who feels unseen, who feels left behind, a little 13-year-old boy in Ghana, Micronesia, like wherever it is in the world, they can look at you and look at the evidence of what they can become. And so thank you so much for that. And thank you so much for being here. Your story is not over. So we'll keep seeing the evidence unfold.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here and for sharing. And I look forward to reading this book when it comes out. And we'll make sure to put website links and all that in the notes for the episode. And again, thank you so much for your time, for your wisdom, and for being here. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you're listening to or watching Roots, Thoughts, and Voices, Stories That Shape America, a Cincinnati Compass podcast. Subscribe wherever you listen and visit CincinnatiCompass.org to stay connected. I'm Clara Matonhodze. See you next time. Thank you for listening today. The voice you heard in this episode is one of thousands in this region, people whose roots run deep somewhere else and whose routes brought them here to this country. We are grateful they led us into their story.
If today's conversation stayed with you, share it. Pass it to someone who needs to hear it. Leave a review. And if you carry a story of your own roots, your own routes, we want to hear from you. Reach out through CincinnatiCompass.org.
You can find Roots, Routes, and Voices on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever you listen. New episodes are rolling out now. Season 2 is made possible with the support of the Marketer Collaborative and the Greater Cincinnati Foundation. We are grateful for both partnerships.
Cincinnati Compass connects people to opportunity and builds a more inclusive region. Learn more at CincinnatiCompass.org. Until next time.
Keep telling your story.